Now, on the note of police brutality, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. If we defund the police, I believe that police brutality is a thing. I do believe that there needs to be some kind of reform in police brutality. Let me get that out before um, I say anything else. If we defund the police, who are you going to call? The Ghostbusters to come bust you out of a bad situation? The so called leftists, I'm going to hit the leftists really hard with this one. The so called leftists who are so anti gun, who I believe if you're anti gun, first off, you're not really a true patriot, or you really don't believe in the founding of America, first off, or second of all, and you're not a patriot of America. You shouldn't even wave the American flag. Well, God forbid, most of these people who are anti-Second Amendment would rather wave Soviet Russia flag than actually wave the flag of America. Anyways, so they're pushing a communist Marxist agenda that they're teaching in the schools. Um, the so-called left wants to advocate to ban the police, okay? And I think there needs to be some kind of police reform. And to our surprise, the Democrats actually have been against the abolishing the police force. But these so-called local crazy far left politicians, local politicians, want to abolish the police force. Let's just get rid of all of it. And it seems that Soros is even meddling in the DA elections. Even in my home state of New Mexico, it seems that Soros had just contributed, I saw an article the other day, to funding a DA candidate. They want to not have any law or order. Well, if you want to do that, my solution is, if you really want to do that, which I think is the worst possible thing you could do at the worst possible time, crime rates are still bad, depending on the city. They're probably maybe even worse. I know certainly my city is worse. And they want to get rid of the police officers. Instead, they want crime where we're all shooting at each other and fighting over whatever. The people are just fighting over meth. They're stealing left and right, robbery, car hijacking. That's what these far leftist Democrats want. People like AOC want this to happen. And I reject that. And even Bernie Socialist Sanders, he doesn't want the police abolished. Listen to your leader. That is your guy, right? That's your guy. Bernie's your guy, the leftist guy. He's your leader. He doesn't believe in banning the police. So whoever's advocating for banning police, this is just ridiculous. This who sounds like something Soros would put out. They want to totally create a jungle. But if we do that, if you really want to do that, the American people are going to be locked and loaded, because most of the majority of firearms owners, well, probably 60% of them, vote red or the Republican or the Libertarian or they're independents. They're not necessarily Democrat far leftists. I'm sorry. We need to be careful. We need to protect our rights. We need the police to protect our rights, not infringe on them. I completely agree with that. But right now, we have to be careful with this crime thing, because crime is going to get out of control if we're not careful. So we have to defend our homes. If they really want to defund these police, the police are going to be turned into, I'll say it, they're going to be turned into wimps, pussies. I'm sorry. I had to say that. They're going to be turned into the biggest little girls you've ever seen, because they're too scared of being called a rough, brutal pig cop. They're turning the police into being scared because they don't want to get fired. That is what's going to happen. Even if we don't defund the police, that's going to happen regardless. These police are not going to use any kind of force at all. And they're already telling them, do not use force, do not use force. Just let them shoot you. Do not use force. And it's pissing me off, because the police have the right to defend themselves too. I'm sorry. They're American citizens as well. I'm sorry. they're people as well. If every American citizen has the right to defend themselves, the police have the right to defend themselves, regardless of what you think. They don't have the right to go on the offense and go and shoot someone like they did with Daniel Schaefer, but they do have the right to bear arms, just like everybody else, and the right to defend, even when they're wearing the badge. They go through so much. They go through so much abuse, so much hate right now going on for cops. And I'm not buying the whole screw the pigs, all cops are bastards leftist agenda. I'm tired of that crap. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm serious. I know both sides are flawed. Police brutality is real. If you want to protest that, go protest that. Don't make it a race issue, because that's not what it is. And we're not going to abolish police, just like we're never going to abolish racism. Racism is a thing that is going to exist forever. We can't sell this perfect utopia like the socialists and the communists want to do. Is people who vote far left and people who believe in the socialist agenda think that we're going to create some utopia where we're just going to give everybody income, everything's going to work out, everybody's going to make the same pay, there's not going to be any rich people anymore, not going to be any evil in the world. The left has a screwed up moral compass. Their heart is in the right place, but they're so brainwashed by the mainstream media that they can't even get their heart in the actual right place. And they've tried to become the moral superior people. Now, growing up, we all thought, well, I thought particularly, oh, it's the Republicans who want to censor everybody. It's the Republicans who are the ones who think they have a bigger moral compass than anybody else. But now it seems the left is at the attack. It seems that leftists are way easier to brainwash than any Republican conservatives, because at least they have a lot of Republicans are evangelical or religious, and they have a good moral compass. They have a good head on them on their shoulders. But this whole thing for police brutality, defund the police force, is just going to create more crime. And the American people, it's going to be the Old West again. If you want to go to the Old West, we can go to the Old West. But we all know who's packing and loading. And it sure as hell ain't these leftist Democrats who are pushing for anti-gun agendas. I think there needs to be police reform in a positive way. I think we need to hold police accountable. And if they want to add the body cam thing, I'm totally fine with that. But some people don't want to be on film that are pulled over either. So there's that too. There's a lot of legal issues and troubles with having the body cam being on all the time too. Because the police department can end up getting sued because the person doesn't want to be on camera. So we have to find common sense solutions to these police brutality problems, regardless of what you think. And we can't just go on full flourish. Oh, we're going to defund the police. The leftists always, these lefties always think, boom, boom, boom. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. They just jump to conclusions. Let's just go all out. Let's erase the whole system, because that's what they want to do. They want to push an anarchist agenda. That's what Antifa and all these guys want to do. These commies want to just erase the system so they can introduce their so-called controlled communistic agenda system, or what you would call the New World Order, the socialist system. So defunding police is just going to result on more crime. Having cops be painted as criminals is just a ridiculous thing in the first place. Yes, there's corruption at certain levels, and the police officers are corrupt. I agree with that. But we can't say they're all this way or this all. The left tends to love generalization when it comes to race, when it comes to police, when it comes to guns, whatever. I'm not for any gun control, by the way. I'm totally against that. And I think we need to have less gun control now and get rid of the red flag law, because of the fact that we're going to need to bear arms if people want to get rid of the police force. We're going to need to arm up and form militias, so on and so forth, if that's what you want. But it seems, though, if they want to defund the police, that's just going to create this civil war that we really don't want. We really don't want to do a civil war. And it just seems like an agenda is being pushed, and it's ridiculous. I would like to keep things the way they are with a little bit more police reform, if that's possible. If not, I'm sure the left is going to lose. So we need common sense reform on police. We don't need common sense gun control like the left loves to say, but they like to generalize. They love to generalize. They don't like to look at certain situations and say, well, maybe we could change this or maybe we could change that. Instead, they like to go full force, and they like to just automatically assume that this is this way and blah, blah, blah. And you're racist if you don't do this, or you're a pig if you don't do this. You're a corrupt cop. You're a corrupt politician if you don't do this or agree with us. It's ridiculous, and the radical left is on the attack on police forces. I feel bad for them. I pray for their safety. I also pray for the safety of, the people who are protesting police. I don't want to see police brutality against protesters. I don't want to see a militarization of police. I agree with that. I'm against martial law, so on and so forth. But I also don't want to see a total annihilation of the police force in any way, whether it be with force or through legislation. I don't agree with that. I think there has to be law and order to balance things out, and there is room for common sense reform, not radical reform. I'm Daniel Chico with fightforliberty.com. Thank you.